Hi guys, I'm going to be real with y'all. This pattern is kind of intuitive. While it does use very basic shapes, so you're just making rectangles and then working in the round. I wouldn't recommend this being unless you have like 2 or 3 projects under your belt, but if you still want to try it out, I won't stop you. For this project, I use 150 grams total of all 3 color yarns, a 3.75 millimeter hook, 3 stitch markers, a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and measuring tape. Our chest panel is the dark green one. It's just going to be a rectangle that reaches from the ends of your armpits and from the top of your chest to beneath it. These are the abbreviations you'll need to know. Now let's get started. I'm going to show you how to do multiple mesh rows at a time. This is how many you'll need to chain for each number of rows. Other than the amount you chain, the process of doing this is pretty much the same no matter how many rows you're doing, but I will still show you how to do it for every amount of rows. Now let's begin. First, make a slip knot. I do mine by crossing my yarn over. Then I put my hook in and twist it. Then just yarn over and pull through and pull on the tail to tighten the knot. Then make a chain that's long enough to wrap from the end of one armpit to another. To do one row at a time, chain up an additional 4 chains. Then yarn over once, and we'll go into the 5th chain from our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the 5th chain. So we'll go into that one, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain up 1 again, yarn over, skip 1 chain, in the next, yarn over and pull up a loop. Chain up 1, skip 1 chain, and in the next, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Chain up 1, yarn over, skip 1 chain, and in the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Eventually, when you get to the end of your row, you'll chain up 4, and 3 of the chains count as a double crochet, and then that 4th chain will be for the extra chain 1. Then you turn your work. Skip the very first stitch because the chain counts as a double crochet, and then you'll skip the chain 1 space, and on top of the double crochet from the previous row, that is where you'll put your next double crochet. So then you'll chain up 1, and atop of every double crochet stitch you'll place another double crochet stitch. If you want to do 2 rows at once, then chain up 7. And then to do 2 rows at a time, you'll yarn over twice and count to the 5th chain from your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go into that 5th chain and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through 2. Then yarn over again and go into the 3rd chain from that hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And then to continue this, you'll chain up 1, yarn over twice again, and we're going to go into these 2 loops here in the middle. So you'll go through those 2 and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through 2. Now yarn over once and skip 1 chain, and in the next one you'll pull up a loop and then yarn over, pull through 2 4 times. I'll show you how to do this again once more. So we'll chain up 1, yarn over twice, go into those 2 middle loops and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over once, skip 1 chain, go into the next and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through 2 4 times. To do 3 rows at a time, add 10 more chains. And then yarn over twice, go into your 5th chain from your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over twice again, 1, and then go into the 3rd chain from your hook. So 1, 2, and 3. So here we go into the 3rd one. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now yarn over only once and go into the 5th chain from your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. Then yarn over and pull through 2 again. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2 again. Yarn over, pull through 2. And yarn over and pull through 2 the last time. And then you chain up 1, yarn over twice, and then we're going to go into these 2 middle loops. So if you look at here in the middle, there's this one here, and then one behind it, and we'll go under those 2. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over twice again. In the next middle part, we'll go into those 2 loops again. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now yarn over only once, skip 1 chain, and in the next, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, and repeat. And now you're going to repeat this until the end. So we'll chain up 1 again, then yarn over twice, go into the 2 middle loops, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over twice again, repeat, pull through 2, then yarn over once, skip 1 stitch, and then pull up a loop in the next, then yarn over and pull through 2 6 times. Now to do 4 rows at a time, add an additional 13 chains. And then yarn over twice, go to the 5th chain from your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the 5th. Go into the 5th chain and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over twice again, go into the 3rd chain from your hook, 1, 2, 3, here, and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over twice again, go into the 3rd chain from your hook, 1, 2, 3, and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now for the last one, we'll yarn over only once and then go into the 5th chain from your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 until you reach the end. And then you chain up 1, yarn over twice, and we go into these 2 middle loops again. just like we did for the 2 rows at a time and 3 rows at a time. Yarn over twice, 2 middle loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over twice. This is the last set of 2 middle loops. So you pull up a loop and then yarn over and pull through 2. Then for the last, yarn over once, skip 1 chain, and in the next, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, 8 times. And then you'll just repeat this part, chaining up 1, then yarn over 2, and then you yarn over only once, skip 1, and in the next, pull through 2 until the end. Now I'm at the end of my 4th row. I have 2 loops left on my hook. If you had already completed the stitch like this, you can just take out your hook and then pull it through, and now you'll have 2 loops left to use. We're going to change colors, so grab your second color and you're going to leave a bit of a tail so we can weave it in. So I cross the yarn over and then I pull it through the 2 loops on our project, and then we can pull the white yarn tail to tighten it. At this point you would cut your white yarn, but mine is already short, so I'll just leave it like this. And now take the tail ends of the yarn, so these short pieces, and throw them over your project, or throw it over the working yarn, and we will make a chain to secure it a bit. And now we will continue on like we did. We're going to do 4 mesh rows in our second color now. So yeah, now just continue on and add a link to your rectangle, change colors whenever you like. As long as the total length is long enough to cover your chest, then you can do 3 rows, 2 rows in one color, just 1 row of a color before you switch. It doesn't really matter. I just finished my 8th row, and now I encourage you to weave in your ends after every color change. So I'm going to put the tail end of one color onto my darning needle and weave it into the matching side so that it just blends in seamlessly. And just do this after every color change so that you don't have a bunch of ends to weave in when you're done. Now that it's time to twist our top, look over to the right and see that you should count the number of stitches that you have, then multiply that by 0.15 to see how many you should chain across from your twist, and remember that number. So you see how I have that stitch marker there? Ignore that for now. Twist your top first and then worry about the placement of your stitch marker after it's twisted how you want it to be. And I'm saying this because I did eventually move my marker back a few spaces a bit later on. I don't show it in the video, but I definitely did. Just place it somewhere where there won't be too large of a gap once you add the chain. But once you have your stitch marker in the correct or general space, chain up 4 and then double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, and we're just going to do mesh until you reach your stitch marker. Now I reached this first stitch marker, so after, with your top twisted already, you're going to count the same number of stitches as you did on this first side and place a stitch marker. You're going to chain the number that we calculated by multiplying by 0.15, so I'm going to chain 10. And then in this double crochet stitch. Now just continue doing a double crochet, chain 1 double crochet until you reach the end of the row. Alright, now you're just going to do more rows of mesh, just like we've been doing, changing colors every few rows until this reaches your belly button. So it's just a straight rectangle. Once you get to the right length, come back and I'll show you how to connect it and do the skirt and the straps. Now that it's long enough to reach my belly button, we're just going to continue where we left off and make a chain that's long enough to wrap around our hips. Added 32 chains, and once you reach your desired length, then you'll come to the opposite end of the bottom of your top. So we're on the bottom side and we'll come to this end, and in the third chain from the bottom, so 1 2 3, and this one right here, 1 2 3, we'll put a slip stitch. So you go into the stitch, pull up a loop, and then you pull that loop through the chain as well. Now place a stitch marker so that your yarn doesn't come undone, because we're going to change colors and work on our straps next. As you can see, I already have my entire dress done, or most of it done at this point, but I'm having you do the straps earlier because it just makes it easier trying it on later. So it just made more sense to put it here. So yeah. But you're just going to place a stitch marker at your waist, and this is where we'll put the chain to tie the dress around you in the back. Now to make the straps, you'll go to the top of your dress and attach your yarn in the first like mesh square in the corner. We'll make a chain of 50. This strap doesn't have to be too long. This is the part we'll use to wrap around your neck. Once your chain is long enough, chain up one additional chain, and then we'll put a single crochet in every chain until you reach the end. When you reach the end of your chain, place 2 single crochets into the same space. In every space after that, place 3 single crochets until you reach your stitch marker. Once you reach the stitch marker, create another chain of 50, and then you'll single crochet your way back down the chain like we did earlier. When you reach the end of the chain, place a slip stitch into the same space, and then chain up 1 and cut your work. Now repeat this process for the next side. Now it's time for the skirt. The chain you made before should have already made the skirt large enough to fit over your hips. So most of the increasing we'll do now is purely stylistic. So if you want your skirt to be very frilly, you'll do a lot of increases. But if you want like bodycon, then you'll do only enough to get your skirt to fit onto you. On the left, you'll see I have a zone that says do not increase. This is for if you want your skirt to look more like mine. I pretty much never increase in the front of the skirt just because I prefer having it flat. So if you like that look, you should never increase in that like trapezoid space at the front of your skirt, except for the like last 4 rows where I do the frills. And you'll see on the right that I show how many rows I did for each color as well as how often I increased. So for the first 6 rows I did no increases at all, and then following that I did 4 rows increasing every fourth stitch, 2 rows increasing every third stitch, and whenever I reached the front I stopped increasing. Of course, you don't have to be too strict with where you increase and how often you increase. There are some times where I would only increase like every 2 stitches, but then do it every 4 stitches, all in the same row. It's not going to mess up your skirt if you are not like even with the amount of increases, so don't worry about it too much. Now, in order to connect your round when you're doing multiple rows, you'll first start off by doing everything as normal. So you'll chain up 1 and then you'll yarn over twice and go into each of the middle parts and then yarn over and pull through once, like as we have been doing. And then when you're on the last one, you'll only yarn over once, just like always. Then you'll go into that last stitch on the white row, then pull through 2, go into the center part, and then we yarn over, pull through that, pull up a loop, and then we pull through 2. So there's 1 and then 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, go into the next center middle part, pull up a loop, and then pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2 one last time, go into the third chain from the hook, increasing is the same no matter how many rows you're doing at a time. So here I'm doing 3 rows at a time. So I'm going to start this off as I normally would and chain up one. The only thing you're going to do different is end the row in that same stitch as one already is in. So yarn over twice and we're gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through two for every middle piece that we have. And then at the end, only yarn over once, and then you'll go into that same stitch, and then we'll do the yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, all the way till we get to the top. And that's how we increase. So I've pretty much given you all the tools that you need. Everything else after this point is pretty intuitive. So you want to try on your dress often, and I'll explain a bit more about how I did my increases in case you would like your dress to flare out similar to mine. But other than that, you'll just continue working in rounds and increasing wherever you would like it to frill out more or you just need it a bit larger.
Alright, so I thought I'd show how I increased or where I increased on my dress. So until I reached my hips, I didn't really increase, and I did some rows as 2, some rows in 4s. I had did multiple rows at a time for each row, so I never did a row one by one. And when I got to my hip area, you can see that I increased here. See, here's an increase. So increase, no increase, no increase, no increase, then increase. So for this row, when I first reached my hips, I did an increase every 3 stitches. So increase 1, 2, 3, increase 1, 2, 3, increase 1, 2, 3, increase. And then in the next set of rows after that, I only sporadically, I stopped increasing here at the front because I don't like it when the front is too frilly. But when I turn to the back, I do an increase, then 2 without, increase, 2 without, increase. And then in the next set of rows, I had also did increase, 2 without, increase, 2 without. In the next set of rows, I still did increase and then 2 without, increase, then 2 without. And I did offset the increases so that they're not stacked on top of each other. So how there's an increase here, I wouldn't put an increase right above it or below it, but it's diagonal. And then the next set, it's still diagonal from this one. I don't stack them. And in the last set of rows, I wanted it very frilly, so I did increase, then 1 single, increase, no increase, increase, no increase. And so in the front side, me not increasing much on the front side is purely for aesthetic purposes and preference, which is why I say to increase wherever you like, just to get it how you would like to look. If you prefer more frills, you will do more increases. If you want more of a bodycon, you will do less.
But once you're done, you should get something that looks kind of like this. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm so tired of editing. But yeah, I hope this wasn't too badly explained. Just let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do to improve next time.